The baby is the size of a papaya. Hi and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jenny and I am excited today to bring you my second trimester update. If you haven't been following along, that's completely all right. I will have a link up for the first trimester update up in the corner, and there'll be also some links down below. But talking to you today about my second trimester and everything that I experienced throughout that second trimester. If that is something that you're interested in, please stick around, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. I've been using the Pregnancy Plus app to help track things throughout this pregnancy and for it to provide me with some updates of, where babe's at, what size babe is, and I'll throw in a screen recording of what the app actually looks like. It's pretty neat that you can see, the babe, and it'll tell you more about the length and more about the weight of the babe. So as of today, we are about the size of a papaya. So that's in the range of about 13 to 15 inches, and that is 1.2 to 2.2 pounds. It's really neat that you can actually see a 3D image of the babe as well and learn some interesting facts about each week that you are within. According to my app, I am 28 weeks and 1 day pregnant as of today. So I am in my third trimester while I'm filming this for you, but it's a great day for me to give you that second trimester recap. So I'm able to look back on that entire second trimester and provide all of that information to you today. At the beginning of the second trimester, so the month of November, I was sick with a winter cold throughout the entire month. It was my first time being sick while pregnant, and I knew there was quite a bit of restrictions on what you were and were not allowed to take while being pregnant. I definitely tried to just keep it natural and drink a lot of water and took Tylenol as needed. I wasn't able to shake this particular cold. So eventually I did cave, and I asked Eric to go to the pharmacist and ask them what a pregnant gal would be permitted to take, and so the pharmacist was able to recommend some cough syrup that I was allowed to take, as well as a few other things, and that definitely helped so that I could finally get some more rest. That was a whole month-long cold, and I'm very happy to not be sick while I'm filming this video for you today. Update on my heart rate. So I mentioned in my first trimester recap about my heart rate kind of being a little bit out of control at the beginning of the pregnancy. It was increasing to the point where I had to, sit down or lay down to collect myself. And I thought a lot of that attributed to me still drinking coffee and having my normal cup of joe. I did make that switch from coffee to tea in that first trimester, but I mentioned I wanted to try introducing decaf, and I went ahead and did that, and we are looking good. I even do a little bit of 50-50 decaf and caffeinated coffee in the morning, and we are still fine. Very excited to have that back into my daily routine. I was a coffee drinker prior to being pregnant, and so being able to have that back has been very, very nice. My meal sizes have been restricted. Well, not necessarily restricted, but they definitely vary in size. As babe grows, babe takes up more space within my belly, and then there's less space for things like breathing or food to go into my belly. I'm one vessel standard size that things are supposed to be fitting in, so as babe is growing within me, it makes it a little bit more difficult to eat. It's interesting because I'll get really hungry and want to start eating, but then I'll feel full a lot sooner, even though I know I'm not actually full yet. My body's just feeling full because there's just so much going on within me. So there has been some variance within that. There's some days where I can eat, a full meal and even a little bit more than, and I'm like, whoa, I had a lot of space in there today. And there's other times where I will go and I can only eat, a handful of bites here and there. I will say I've been going to the bathroom a lot, especially at night. There'll just be times where it's not even a large quantity, but I will have to get up to go to the bathroom. A mixture of you actually having to go to the bathroom more often, and babe potentially sitting right on top of your bladder and putting weight on pressure on your bladder, but it's also preparing you for when babe is here and has an irregular sleep schedule. So I am definitely getting warmed up for that as I'm waking up multiple times throughout the night. Inconvenient, however, I do think it will be great training to prep me for when babe does get here. My super snuffer is still going strong. I mentioned in my first trimester update that my sense of smell has been off the charts, and that is still true. It is interesting how sensitive my sense of smell still is. There'll just be, you know, certain things that I really can't be around, I can't be in certain areas. So one of the times that it was very, very apparent was we did a Babymoon vacation. Well, I call it a Babymoon. We actually went to Puerto Rico for a friend's wedding and ended up making a full week stay out of it and making it a vacation for us. It was a lot of fun. Highly recommend traveling in your second trimester instead of traveling in your first when you probably don't feel that great, versus your third, which you can tend to be a little bit on the bigger side. A lot of times your doctors may not recommend you flying or taking long distance travel just at that stage, since you know you could give birth throughout your third trimester. Anyhow, but recommend traveling in your second trimester if you're looking to do any travel. But we went to Puerto Rico. It was a lot of fun. But back to the sense of smell piece I wanted to mention was we wanted to stop by one of the little areas that's right next to the coast, open air cafe essentially, and we couldn't even order our food. We had to leave because the oceanic smell was very strong that day, and there was no way I was going to be able to eat my food while having such a strong oceanic smell. And it wasn't necessarily just like ocean smell, just the not fun oceanic smell, and it was coming through the cafe because it was an open air cafe that was right next to the coast. Would have been a great opportunity, but unfortunately Super Snuffer had us running for the hills. My skin has been super dry, so I definitely try and stay as hydrated as possible, which also probably attributes to having to go to the bathroom more. I digress. My skin has been super dry, both on my face as well as like my hands and my arms. Definitely been trying to apply more lotion and just trying to, you know, keep my skin hydrated. My hair has been growing a lot more, as well as my nails. I do need to go in and actually get a haircut. I had Eric trim off a couple of inches of my hair actually this morning, get rid of some of those dead ends while you're pregnant, and of course taking your prenatal vitamins and everything. But my nails have also been growing a lot. I am having to keep up with my nail care a lot more than usual. My nails have been growing like crazy. Another thing I noticed, which might be a little bit of TMI, in my chest region, they're still very sensitive on some days where it's just, I can't even wear a sports bra. That was an interesting piece that I didn't realize I would still be experiencing into the second trimester, is just the heightened sensitivity. And sometimes it lasts for just a short period of time, and sometimes it lasts for a few hours. That is something that is not very great in this second trimester time period. Let's talk a little bit about movement. So feeling babe move. In the beginning of the second trimester, there was movement happening, but it was more closely related to something like the butterflies you might feel in your stomach. And a lot of people mentioned, you know, oh, the first movement, it's like butterflies or something. Or it might feel just like little flutters in there that you're like, oh, is that my stomach digesting, or was that actual movement? And you don't know. Now experiencing the movements, it's a lot more obvious that yes, that's babe moving. That's not my body doing things. That is babe moving around, repositioning, and, you know, getting the occasional kick in. It's an interesting sensation. Some people say they really enjoy having the feeling of babe moving around and kicking. I do enjoy the feeling of having babe move around, and I like knowing that, you know, they're active and awake, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily something like, ooh, yes, let me feel that movement. It's weird to me. It's a weird feeling. I do enjoy having that movement. There's been times when Eric has been able to place his hand on my stomach and feel the movement as well. So definitely trying to get him as involved as possible, feel a little bit more connected. He said something to me, and he probably is gonna get embarrassed on mentioning this. When we were in Puerto Rico, that was super cute, is we were just laying in bed and he just rolled over and he said, I just wanna hold my kid already. And it was really cute, and I just was like, oh, well, they're only half baked, so you gotta wait a little bit longer. So he's really excited and really looking forward to being a dad, but he's gotta wait a little bit longer before babe is ready. So a couple of appointment updates. I had to refilm this because I was yawning way too much in the first round. My OB, we've been meeting fairly regularly, about once a month, and so there was a couple of other extra appointments that were on top of the normal OB appointments. So one of those was the full ultrasound appointment. The one where they go in, they look at every single piece of the body, the heartbeat, the heart itself, the stomach, they look at the kidneys, 2 arms, 2 legs, they look at everything, they measure everything. It was a very cool appointment to watch that and just to just see this ultrasound text say, oh yeah, you know that little splotch right there? Yep, right there, that's the stomach. I'm like, how do you know? Obviously they've been doing this for years and they've been highly trained, but how do you know that splotch is the stomach? It just looks like another splotch on there. But anyhow, ultrasounds, once they're able to walk you through what you're looking at, it's a lot of fun to have that appointment. And that appointment went very, very well. Babe is looking great, and I was very excited to have those results come back all positive. I don't know if I mentioned this in the first trimester update, I can't remember if I did, but we also did a lot of the other, you know, like genetic testing and those kinds of tests, and everything came back normal. As far as we know, per all the testing and everything, Babe should be coming out all American, very normal. If everything progresses normally from here moving forward, we should be good. The other thing that was fun to do that I did towards the second half of the second trimester, by fun I mean it wasn't very fun, was the gestational diabetes test. I'm going to refer to it as more of like the rapid test. There was a rapid test version that was only a 1 hour long test. So you drink this orange drink and it's kind of like bad Gatorade, I guess, or I don't know. It wasn't gross necessarily, but some people find it absolutely repulsive. It wasn't gross to me. It just wasn't something I'm like, ooh yeah, I'm gonna go buy that off the shelf again. So you're fasting for 8 hours, then you drink this orange drink that isn't very exciting, and then you have to wait an hour. And at the hour mark, they draw blood, and then they're able to take that blood and run it for tests to test your sugar levels. I did not clear immediately with the first rapid test. It's supposed to be, you know, in like the 140 range, and I was about 150, I think, with my sugars, if I'm remembering correctly. And so she being my OB recommended that I go in for the 3 hour test. A couple days later, I went in and did that test, so fasted again, woke up, and went in for the 3 hour test. So this one, they drew my blood 4 times. They drew it before I drank the drink, then an hour after the drink, a second hour after the drink, and then a third hour after the drink. And I'm fasting throughout all of this, so getting pretty hungry. You're only supposed to take sips of water because you're really just trying to have your body just process those sugars and see how your body is processing it. So good news is, I'm in the clear, no gestational diabetes here. The little bit of stress that I had between the results of the first one to the results of the second test was not very fun. I was nervous about having the gestational diabetes. Very excited that I don't have that. There's lots of resources out there if you do test positive for it. I think that is pretty much it. We found out the gender. So my husband Eric and I, we do know the gender of Babe. We are not going to let you know though. We're keeping that gender a secret. We're definitely keeping the name a secret until after Babe is born. We are definitely not even decided on the name. I will figure out when I can tell y'all the gender. But until then, you'll have to be satisfied with just some bump shots. So let's go ahead and do those bump shots right now. You can already see there's more of a bump there. Yep. So we're looking at a little bump there. My belly button is starting to pop a little bit, which is interesting. So I've been definitely working on my pelvic floor muscles. So that is breathing in. And then when you breathe out, and it's not here, it's here. So you're really working on your pelvic floor and lower abdominal area. So they refer to it as like a baby hug. So just trying to give Babe some love, but also trying to keep my pelvic floor strong. So that's one of the exercises I've been working on. So again, that's breathing in and breathing out. There we go. Thanks again for joining me on my second trimester update. I do hope you stick around until Babe is born and just see all the fun family and lifestyle things that we have cooking. If you are new here and you're interested in this content, I do encourage you to subscribe and click that bell notification to be notified of new uploads. And if you liked this video, give us a like so that I know that you are interested in more of the family content. I have lots of other videos on my channel, so everything from DIY projects to home renovation, a little bit of yoga trickled in there as well. Essentially lifestyle videos all throughout this channel. If any of that sounds interesting to you, I invite you to subscribe. Until next time, be well, my friends. Bye.